can be something. They can grind your gears, right? They can make you so frustrated. So how do you handle it though? How do you handle it when people are testing your boundaries? You want to know how I do it? I'm going to share it with you. So stick around and watch this video. Hey guys, it is me, your girl, Andrea Patrick, the BU Boss. And yes, I'm teaching you how to be you in your business. I'm teaching you how to be you in your life, honey. So you can show up as yourself and be 100% you and do the thing, make stuff happen. So how do you handle it when people are testing your boundaries? Got a few tips for you. So let's get started. Tip number 1, gather your thoughts. It is so important for you to think before you open your mouth, because sometimes open your mouth too quickly cause us to say things that we don't want to say, that alienate other people or could jeopardize what you have going on. And these days people are keeping receipts. So this is especially true if you are clapping back on an email or you are clapping back on a text message. Give yourself a count of 10 or so, 20, 100, whatever you need, but gather your thoughts. Think about what just happened, how this person is testing your boundaries, how important are the boundaries, because that's going to really kind of guide your next steps in how you handle it and what you say. So give yourself a beat, think about what is, gather your thoughts, because if you are clapping back on a text message, like I said, somebody's keeping receipts, or an email, somebody's gathering information and they have a file, honey, with your name on it. So be careful and gather your thoughts. Think about things. The next thing that I suggest you do when people are testing your boundaries is to ask a few questions. Like my husband and I get into an argument, and it's because we jumped to conclusions and we did not ask questions to determine, is this really argument? Do they really mean it the way I received it? Am I being too sensitive to what was just said or what was just done? Am I in my feelings about something else entirely, and I'm allowing those feelings to be projected on the person that I'm talking to? So ask yourself a couple of questions. After you've taken a beat, ask yourself a couple of questions just to qualify it for whether or not this person is actually testing your boundaries. Now, the third thing is use reinforcing language. Now, I said this recently in, I think it was a podcast or maybe it was in a training, I don't remember, but I said boundaries are not always to keep people out. Primarily, boundaries are to protect what's inside of the boundary. So just don't think of it as I'm trying to keep people out of my stuff, out of my life, out of my things. Think of it as you really protecting the sanctity of who you are and how you want to show up. And you don't want people to interfere with that in any way. So setting boundaries and being able to communicate those boundaries to other people is really important. So after you have taken a beat and then you've sort of asked those questions to confirm whether or not someone is actually trying to test your boundaries, the next step is to ask to reinforce the boundaries as they were and just kind of let people know where you stand. And we have to teach people how to treat us. So if for some reason a boundary has not been set, this might be the first time your internal boundary that you've not communicated yet is being crossed. And so you have to establish the boundary there. In the future, or perhaps next time, are some ways that you can communicate the boundary, set the boundary, or if it's needing to be reinforced, remind people of the boundary by using words, by communicating, by reinforcing the language that you have used prior to set the boundary or to start to communicate and actually tell someone that a boundary is necessary in this particular space. Another thing that I advise you to do if someone is testing your boundaries, the next step is to disengage. If you find that, in your taking a beat and confirming that this is a situation where a boundary has been tested and you have communicated to them that either they have tested your boundary or they've overstepped and you have to set a boundary, whatever the case may be, if that is met with pushback or attitude, if you will, then if it's something that you feel strongly about, which I encourage you to set your boundaries, and we do that inside Project CEO. But more importantly, prior to that, we're going to be creating a blueprint for those success strategies in our Search for Success challenge that's coming up very soon. So make sure that you hit the link in the description box so that you can register for that fun challenge. I'm really excited to get started with that. But if you find that you've done these things and the person is still trying to test your boundary and you don't want this to happen, it may be time to disengage. I was just doing a podcast interview, as I I mentioned, and the person on the podcast interview said one of her coaches was telling her a story, and she made the point that if you have one negative person in your life, that negative person could be standing in the way of your abundance. They could be preventing you in some mental, like some mindset way, some way that's not tangible, could be contributing to the reason why you are not having business that you want. So if you're finding that people are testing your boundaries and you have expressed to them that they are testing a boundary and they have decided that it doesn't matter to them and they're going to continue to do it, it might be time to disengage. So that would be my next suggestion. And then finally, after you've done all of these things, it may be time to do a mental check of your boundaries and determine if these are the right boundaries for you, if they are serving you, if they're allowing you, if they're protecting you so that you can do the things that you want to do and achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And if they are, it's time to reestablish them and then begin teaching people, especially if this is a new boundary, it's time to begin teaching people how to treat you, because you have to show people what you expect of them and show them what they can expect of you. And that is part of setting these boundaries and letting people know what you will and will not do, which is another reason why I'm so excited about the Search for Success challenge, because in finding this blueprint that we're going to find during this challenge, we're going to define some things that are going to help you create these boundaries and minimize people actually testing them, because there is a method to the madness where you're teaching people how to treat you and you are showing up and sharing with people what they can expect of you, and you are telling them based on this blueprint what you expect of them, and you're getting clear. Your language is clear. It should be very clear cut. I am a firm believer in no being a complete sentence. You don't have to put anything behind it but a period. And so therefore, when you are clear on your own boundaries, the blueprint that we're going to work on in the Search for Success challenge, it's easy for you to communicate those boundaries to other people in a way that is loving and easy and soft to the touch, to the ear, so that you don't come across aggressive and you don't sound like you are being mean to other people. But by the time you have to disengage with them, you've communicated with them enough and they know. So it shouldn't come as some surprise, because they are not operating within the boundaries or outside of the boundaries that you set to protect what you are trying to do. All right, that is as simple as it gets, guys. If someone is testing your boundaries and you want to know how to handle that, again, I suggest that you first take a beat, gather your thoughts. Then I want you to really ask yourself a few questions, do a little checklist, mental checklist, to make sure that this is actually an occasion where someone was, attempting to test your boundaries and that words actually need to be spoken, communication needs to happen about that. And then when it does, and you do come to a conclusion, then I want you to reinforce what you said. Use that language and re-engage with them on what you will and will not tolerate and kind of where you stand on the subject in a loving way. And again, there is a way to do it. And then have that conversation. If you feel like they are continuing to test your boundaries and the inside of your boundaries, where you are, what you're protecting, is in danger, if it feels threatened to you because someone continues their boundaries, then it might be a time for you to disengage with them and communicate the reasons that you are. And then also, lastly, establishing the new order, making sure that the boundaries that you have set are the ones that you still need, constructing those boundaries. If someone crossed a line you didn't even know they didn't need to cross, but it made you feel some kind of way, really re-establishing or setting boundaries for yourself, and then giving those people clear language, being able to clearly communicate those boundaries so that it's not misinterpreted again. Like, don't let people off the hook, but do share with them what your boundaries are and teach them how you want to be treated and teach where the lines are so that they don't cross them. But that's it. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed sharing it with you, but if you are having trouble with someone that is testing your boundaries, these are some great things that you can do to overcome that and fix that situation. But to learn more about how to easily do this, I encourage you to click on the Search for Success challenge down below and join us really soon with this challenge. I know you're going to benefit from this blueprint that you're going to find in your search. All right, have a great rest of your day. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you are not following me on Instagram, please go ahead and do so. And I'm on TikTok, so follow me over there, Andrea Patrick, AF Patrick Official, I think it is. But follow me on the socials and let's get to know each other, because I want to help you be the boss, be you in your business, in your life, and in your career. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye.